My name is Cynthia Diane Bent. I'm a 68-year-old Vietnam veteran, born in Charleston, South Carolina. I have a BA in psychology, a master's in counseling. I never imagined that I would get myself in the kind of situation where I would be the victim. I always had a home, I always had a job, I had extra money to spend, but when I lost my job, I was living in my truck as my only home. I had to load it up with all the belongings I had left. You learn how to survive. But I would sleep in my truck and I would lock the doors. I was afraid all the time. But then my parents are getting older in South Carolina, and I knew I had to make a choice of living in Arizona or going home. And I decided I had to go home, and so I told my daughter I was coming, and she said, come here to Arlington before you go back to South Carolina. So from one reference to another, from a shelter to a transitional living, finally all kind of narrowed down to an organization called APAH. Then APAH took over. They showed me this apartments. They drove me here and said, this is where you will live. And I started crying. After I got my bed, my queen size bed, they rolled that in and I just laid on it and I actually just cried. Because when I first moved here, I knew I was safe. I was thankful for a flushing toilet, my own flushing toilet, and a kitchen with running water. It was like discovering the 21st century all over again. And I'd say thank you every time I'd get into the shower. Thank you, God. I flushed the toilet and I said, thank you, God. I'm sorry. It's wonderful that APAH also provides additional classes for cooking, learning to manage your finances, help with tax returns. They're there. They're just human beings who really have a big heart for human beings who need help. So once I became finally settled and gaining confidence in myself to go out into the public again, I knew I wanted to do some volunteering. I chose to work with the residents in what they call Building 6. It's palliative care. And I was given this big room they call the Music Cafe. So I saw it as helping with music therapy, in a sense of listening to the actual music that made them feel better. Volunteering is important to me because when I see these veterans, my heart goes out to them. I want to help them any way that I can because of what they've contributed to this country. Please, by whatever means you can, support housing for the homeless.